Internet, and welcome back to another episode of Frankly Frankie. How y'all doing today? I know I'm doing pretty good, and I hope that you are too. And I also realize that this lighting is terrible. Please forgive me. The sun has not quite made it to this side of my apartment yet, and I have to use an artificial light as opposed to some natural light, so it's kind of washing me out. I look extra pale, which is really kind of creepy. Anyway, as some of you may know, I am a huge Harry Potter fan. I love the books. I like the movies. Cursed Child sucked. We're not even going to go there. But I want to address today a little issue that I have found, or at least thought about, in the very first Harry Potter book, which, by the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the books or at least seen the movies, although I don't think that they entirely touch on this subject in the movies. It's referenced, I believe, but not really brought to light. But I'm having a little bit of an issue here, and my issue is Professor Quirell and the post of defense against the dark arts teacher. In the first book, when we meet Professor Quirell, everybody knows who Professor Quirell is. It seems like he's been there for at least more than a year. But later in the series, actually later in that very same book, and definitely in the next book, we learn that the defense against the dark arts post is one of the hardest posts to keep a teacher at. Nobody seems to last longer than a year, leading down the road to the reveal that the position was cursed by Lord Voldemort and blah blah blah. My issue is, if nobody has lasted in the post for more than a year, how does everybody know who Quirell is? I mean, think about it. If you've read the book, then you'll know. Hagrid knows who Professor Quirell is right away in the pub. Now, or Leaky Cauldron. I guess it's a pub. Yeah, whatever. Now, that could be explained by the fact that Hagrid works at Hogwarts. He knew Dumbledore hired a teacher. Fine. But what doesn't get explained is, how does Percy Weasley know who Professor Quirell is? How does any of the other students or the Hogwarts ghosts know who Professor Quirell is prior to his introduction? And on top of that, actually, there's not even an introduction. Dumbledore, in every book after the first book, introduces the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, because every year they need a new teacher. Except in the Philosopher's Stone. In the Philosopher's Stone, they do not introduce Professor Quirell as the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, which leads to the belief that he had been there prior to the year that we join Harry going to Hogwarts for the very first time. Now, it's a little shady there, because there is a point in the book, not in book one, actually, sorry, I apologize, the reference is actually later in the series, when Harry is revisiting a memory, that Dumbledore asks Snape to keep an eye on Professor Quirell. However, Dumbledore and nobody else ever references Quirell as being a new teacher for that year, which leads me to believe that Professor Quirell had been there for at least 2 years. Now, I have a theory. Was Professor Quirell then allowed by the curse itself that Voldemort had placed on the position to stay in that position because of the fact that he was working with Voldemort? Now, it doesn't actually say when he meets Voldemort, although we are kind of led to believe that it's over the summer between Harry meeting him in the Leaky Cauldron and the school year actually beginning, because that's when Quirrell has the turban and Voldemort's hiding under the turban. So if that's the case, then shouldn't he have been introduced as a new hire? And if so, why wasn't he? And if he had been a teacher prior to, then why does the curse automatically take effect after he is killed at the end of Philosopher's Stone? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on the subject. Argue with me if you want. Whatever the case may be. Like, subscribe, share, all that happy stuff we have to do to self-promote, because, hey, YouTube's not doing it for us. And until next time, guys, let's get weird.